So you started, you think, well, there's a lot of things that contributed to this, but at 12 years old, you started modeling.
I did, yeah. I started modeling at 12 because, you know, when I was a kid, my parents told me that I was cute, and so I want, oh gosh. Oh boy.
That's like one of our bad paid-for photos.
I know, gosh. I was literally 12 years old there, and it's a tricky thing being a 12-year-old girl, and, you know, I mean, what is that face? It's...
That's like a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that at 12 years old.
Yeah, it objectifies you, it kind of sexualizes you at a very young age. And I'm not saying that all child modeling is necessarily bad, but it should be age-appropriate. I mean, a 12-year-old girl should be modeling clothes
A 12-year-old.
to 12-year-old kids.
Right. The fact that you were 12 years old and they're critiquing your body, and someone told you that your ass was flabby at 12,
Well, I didn't quite put it like that.
Well.
But, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the first year of modeling for me when I was 12 was really difficult, because while I had a reasonable amount of self-esteem, I soon lost it, because I was constantly compared to other girls. I was trying to get jobs with other girls, but then individual body parts would also be scrutinized. And that incident that you're talking about, that I wrote about in the book, I was asked by a client to turn around and face the wall and drop my pants. So
and how old? How old?
Oh, it was probably about 13, so they could look at my butt. And they needed to look at my butt, because I guess they were going to shoot that area for the campaign. So I just remember my pants around my ankles, facing the wall, feeling completely humiliated, and with a lot of whispering. And I turned back to them, and the woman said, "Gosh, you know, your butt is so saggy for such a young girl. Do you work out?" And I just remember thinking, I forgot to work out. Like, if I'm going to be a model, if I'm going to take this seriously and be professional, I need to do everything that I thought I had to do, and I forgot to work out. And that's really when I became very, very self-conscious.
And you talk about the struggle with the fact that you were closeted. I mean, there were a lot of things you were hiding. The secret about you're keeping that a secret about your sexuality. You're keeping the secret about how you were eating and how you were living. And but those didn't have anything to do with each other. It's sort of...
I mean, they did, but I think that I would have still suffered from an eating disorder if I wasn't struggling with coming to terms with my sexuality, because I really had the eating disorder because I started dieting when I was 12, and because of my lifetime of chronic dieting, I think that it would have just taken a hit TV show or that kind of pressure to look a certain way for me to go into a full-blown eating disorder. But it sure didn't help that I was hiding who I was, because, oh gosh, I mean, who I really was completely unacceptable. I mean, there were no lesbian actresses in the history of acting. I had no real gay role models. It was a very tough time. I mean, you came out the year before, and I remember just watching you thinking, this is the litmus test. Like, if she loses her career, then what chance do I have of starting my career?
And I lost it.
And you lost it.
I didn't help you, did I?
You didn't help?
No.
Well, it wasn't you. I mean, it was, you know, I mean, it was a message.
Yeah.
It was a message that, you know, the industry sent out to gay people at that time was, look what can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you're celebrated for a minute, and then it all just comes crashing down. So,
right. When you were at 80 pounds and you looked in the mirror and you saw, like you said, you had the foresight to say, I got to cover my arms. People think they're too thin, but you still found things wrong with your body when you were that.
Right. I mean, I think that there's that classic image of the anorexic girl looking into a mirror and seeing a really heavy girl reflected back at her. And that's not really how it was for me. I looked in a mirror and I saw that I had very emaciated arms. I saw my bones, and I knew that I was underweight. but my eye went straight to the inch of fat that I still had on my stomach and the fat that I still saw on my thighs, and it still does. You know, that's kind of what I do when I look in the mirror. I go to those things that I don't like.
When you look in the mirror today, you see...
Well, when I look in the mirror today, I mean, I really do accept myself from head to toe. This is exactly the weight that I'm supposed to be. This is exactly what... I mean, it's like I've realized it's taken me a long time, but you can't fit a size 8 foot into a size 6 shoe. It's just not going to happen. So when I look in the mirror now, I realize that this is what I'm supposed to be. And although they are, like... I mean, I don't think that I'm perfect at all.
I do.
Come on.